What up, everybody? It's your boy, just Sasaki, back with another video, guys. You know it. Anyways, guys, today I'm doing a video on how I got into Goosebumps. It was a question I was got in my Q&A, and it's kind of a long story, but and I couldn't film it in the original video because it took too long. So, anyways, I'm gonna do it here. So, how I got into Goosebumps? I didn't read the books, and I didn't read at the time that I started to read Goosebumps. I got into Goosebumps. I didn't read at the time. I didn't like reading. Now I love to read. But as a kid, so anyway, so it happened around I was like 6. I was probably 6 years old. Probably 6 or 5. I don't know how old exactly. And what happened was, and during the summers as a kid, my parents or my grandparents would go. Grandpa, and uncle, and grandma would always go to the library, and I would always be with them because my parents worked a lot. So I would go to my grandparents and my uncle to the library, and we were specifically was interesting is the library we went to, we were donors to, so we have a plaque on there and everything, and it was interesting. Okay, so when I used to go there, I didn't buy books. I went to VHSs, and I got Pokemon and the Yu-Gi-Oh and Scooby-Doo. Those were the main ones I ever watched. And sometimes they had a Digimon, but I didn't usually have Digimon that much. And if they did, they were very few Digimon. And so when I went to go see, them, so I would go. Excuse me, guys. So when I would go to the library with them, I would go, pick out these VHSs, and I was only allowed about maybe 4 or 5 because at the time I didn't have a library card, nor did my parents did, but they would never let me borrow theirs. So if I ever lost or broke any of the VHS tapes, my grandparents would have to pay money to replace them, and it was very expensive, I guess, or they just don't like to pay the money. I don't know. I think it was expensive. I don't know how much it was. Maybe like $30 a tape. I think it was how much it was, and anyways, to replace them or to fix them or I don't know either which one. So it was I think it was sometime in the middle of the summer, and we went there. So the way my place was laid out, the library I went to as a kid and used to go to, and sometimes when I'm in Chicago now visit, I sometimes go to it for fun. It was laid out like this. When you walked in, you had the checkout area, then you had a break room, kind of like for the people, for the workers, the librarians, and the people going to get books. A snack machine, a coffee machine, and a hot chocolate machine for people like that. So you can sit down, read a book, or sit down, take a break while you're on your break at the library. Actually, if I would have stayed in Illinois and where I lived, I probably would have gotten a job at that library because I love books. I started to like books a lot later, and I would have probably gotten a job at the library. Anyways, back to what I was saying. What was that at? Okay, yeah. So I went in, and immediately when you walk in, like I said, there's that area. Then there was a whole area over here for I guess manga and stuff like that, and then adult books. And then you go upstairs, there was a huge area for adults and stuff, which I never only went to once or twice, and it was I'm sorry guys, I'm really tired for some reason. It was a long area for a bunch of books, different types, but it was you had to be very quiet in that part of the area. I don't know why to this day. All I know is when I went back there recently, a couple of years ago, the rules kind of changed. There wasn't, you had to be as quiet as you did. As a kid, I remember I was whispering to my grandpa I had to go to the bathroom, and then my uncle would take me to the bathroom because at the time I wasn't allowed to go by myself, without someone being there to make sure I didn't get taken. And I got shushed by not the librarian, but some dude with a beard who's not even looking at a book. He's drinking a coffee, and he's like, shh. I'm like, as a 50-year-old, I was a little frightened, so I just didn't do anything else. I went back. I went to the bathroom by myself. But anyway, so back to the thing. So I walked in one day, and I cut right to the thing, to the section. This is the thing is, I wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom by myself, but I was allowed to go in the library kids section. So right between the stairs to go up to the section that I used to call the quiet zone, because weren't allowed even to talk in there, is 3 doors that take you to the kids section. And once you got into the kids section, at the time that I was going there, they had VHSs as soon as you turned your head in the kids section. There was VHSs on like 4 rows of them. And then they had audiobooks, and then I believe was to check out a concierge desk for helping to find the books or VHSs you were looking for. Nowadays at that library they have DVDs. I don't think they still have the VHSs. They probably do. I'm not sure. They have DVDs. They have video games and a bunch of other stuff. They have video games and DVDs now, which is I'm surprised. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So when I walked in, and I basically picked out a couple Yu-Gi-Oh, a couple Pokemon, a couple Scooby-Doo that I'd already watched, okay? Maybe I picked out like 1 to 2 Pokemon I already watched, two Scooby-Doo, and that was it. I'm walking out of the area, okay? I'm about to walk out of the VHS then, and all of a sudden, something big, I'm walking this way, so I'm like walking that way, like that, and my eye, in the corner of my eye, something catches my eye. Something with a big, drippy G kind of sign. And I turn, and I look. And it's the VHS, The Haunted Mask. And it's, I saw the Haunted Mask thing, the scene of it, the cover. Now, here's the thing. Any normal 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old who sees that would immediately begin to cry. Because that's terrifying, that cover, okay? I, on the other hand, I just said, awesome. That's what I said out loud, and awesome. So I'm like, it looked great. I read what I could read of the back of it, because I didn't read that well back then. That's also why I didn't read books or like the books. And I said to myself, I wasn't a dumb kid, let me put it this way. I wasn't dumb as a kid. I was really smart. Even though I didn't like to read, I was a very smart kid. I knew socially I wasn't dumb socially either. I did some dumb things that were social, like did some weird stuff as a kid, but other than that, it's okay. So back to the story. I said I know my grandfather won't let me get this by myself. I had to trick him. Okay, as every kid thinks they can trick their grandfather. So I'm like, and my trick was actually working a little bit. It worked a little bit. So here's what I planned to do. I wasn't gonna put it on the top. I was gonna put Pokemon, Haunted Mask, Scooby-Doo. Okay, I put one Scooby-Doo back and put Pokemon, Scooby-Doo, or Haunted Mask, Scooby-Doo. So I go to my grandfather. He's ready to go. My uncle's just finishing up, and we're going about to leave. And my grandfather says, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah, I'm ready." So we go up to the checkout lady at the librarian, and the librarian says, starts checking off my VHS. It says Pokemon, Pokemon, Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask, and Scooby-Doo. And then my grandfather was like, back up for a second. What was the third one? And my grandfather, and she says, Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask, and pushes the VHS towards my grandfather to look at it. My grandma picks up the VHS, looks at the cover, looks at the back, looks at me, looks at the back of the VHS, and says, "You want this?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay, I'll let you have it. But here's the thing. I don't want your parents to call me in the middle of the night saying that you're having nightmares and ruin my sleep over it." And it's the reason why I like Goosebumps today is because of my grandfather. And I watched it, and I was watching it at home, and my mother comes in that day, and she freaks. Like, "What are you watching? What is this?" And I said, "Mom, calm down. Papa got it for me. and Papa is Yiddish for grandfather. It's like, oh, the Papa got for you, it's all right. And then that was basically it. And I went back to return that in a few weeks, and then they had Stay Out of the Basement. I bought that one, love that. Returned that one, I got Night in Terror Tower, love that. They bought that, returned that one, got Welcome to the House, love that. Returned that one, got Night of the Living Dead 3, love that. Returned that. Then it all comes down to the Haunted Mask Part 2. I bought that, and that episode scared the living shit out of me so bad. I don't know what caused me to get scared of that bad. Mainly because I watched it, I was under the age of 7, and they say it's scary for the kids under the age of 7. I watched it in the middle of the night. My dad was asleep on the couch. No one was to cover me if I got scared. And I had a legit panic attack so bad that, like, just seeing the cover of the VHS would send me into a full-on hysterics. I would freak out. That's how scary the episode, I think it was, for me. Anyways, back to what I was saying was, so after that, I just didn't watch Goosebumps for a while. I read the books. I did collect some of the DVDs. And then, one day, I would always warn people, about that Goosebumps stuff. Watch out for that Horror Mask Part 2. It's scary. And he's like, nah, he'll be like, oh, alright, bro. But anyways, skip ahead to 5th grade. Or 5th grade, yeah, 5th grade. 5th grade, yeah, 5th grade. So 5th grade. And in 5th grade, we would have free time at school. And in our free time, we would, we would be allowed to go on our computer that we had in the classroom. We had 6 computers that we were allowed to use in our classroom. And we had, unlike schools in Florida, YouTube wasn't blocked. There were other things blocked, like, certain game sites. But now there was, but YouTube wasn't blocked. So we went to go watch YouTube. Or some of my friends would, at least. And when we were watching YouTube, one of my friends named Bobby and my friend Tyler Holcomb would watch Goosebumps VHSs. So one day he's watching it, we're watching it, and he's like, yo, you're watching Goosebumps, awesome. Which episode? And it's like, he shows me the Horror Mask Part 2, and I'm like, dude, don't watch that episode, that's scary, that's fucking scary, you're gonna scare your shit. You're gonna scare yourself to death, that's how scary it is. Like, dude, no, it's not that scary. Like, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. We talk about it for 13 or 3 or 4 minutes, and then he's like, listen to me. Watch the episode for yourself. Then I want you to tell me afterwards. I'm gonna ask you after it was really scary. So I watched the episode, and after the episode was over, he asked me, was it scary? No, it wasn't. I don't know why I was such a wimp back then. That's my full phrase, and that's how I got into Goosebumps, guys. VHSs and my local library. Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you've done so already, and I'll see you in the next video.